The Last of Us 2 multiplayer faction series has been shut down.
Huh?
I am upset. They're not coming out with Last of Us 2 multiplayer. Maru?
What's the reason?
They just didn't. They're just not. They're just like, oh, we had too much. At first they were like, oh, we have too much to add, so it's gonna take a while. And now 3 years later or whatever, after the fucking game comes out, they're like, we're shutting that division down. It's like, what?
Isn't that like the best part of the game?
That is the best part of the fucking first game. The first game, the story, best. I loved the first game because the story was the best story I've ever played in my life. I loved the Last of Us story. I thought Joel and Ellie were amazing. But then after that, I sunk about 300, 400, 500,000 hours, whatever. Lots and lots and lots of time into the Last of Us multiplayer. That's probably the best I've ever been at a video game in my life. Was the Last of Us 1 multiplayer, and I am beyond upset that they have shut down any projects or any aspirations to create the Last of Us 2 multiplayer game. I'm hoping that eventually they come out with a standalone game that is their factions multiplayer. But right now, they've shut down everything, and I'm upset. So, that's where I stand.
Odd. It's a good money-making opportunity.
Maybe Naughty Dog just like disappointing people because they accepted that people didn't the majority didn't receive The Last of Us Part 2 very well.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you think of it, people didn't necessarily receive it well, so maybe they're just like, we're just gonna make people more unhappy.
I mean, the second one wasn't part of the plan, right? Like, it was supposed to end with the first one, but then everybody was on their knees trying to gurgle.
Pissing, wearing diapers because they're adult babies that play video games.
And then they forced it to happen.
Video games wear diapers.
Okay, here's the thing. My least favorite argument, because when the show came out, the Last of Us show, the TV show came out,
yeah,
people were like, oh, the show was so much better because the game didn't let him express himself. Druckmann, it didn't let him express himself enough.
Okay.
TV show.
We referred to Cave earlier.
Oh my god.
My friend Cave, right?
I love Cave. I'm joking.
He watched the Last of Us TV show. Do not rustle, please. Eat hot chip. So Cave watched the TV show, and he'd never touched the game. He liked the TV show so much that he bought the game, right? He's never played a video game in his life. He couldn't figure it out.
Oh no, I'm worried.
Anyway,
I'm already worried.
But he says. So basically, his impression was the creators of the video game, they used it as a way to get into making a TV show because the TV show is a way better medium for the story than a video game. So fucking dumb. I argued with him about it for hours because, Naughty Dog's not like a small studio. They're not like trying to get into other forms of media. They just made a groundbreaking video game. Right?
The standalone video game that was out of the blue and the best game of the decade.
Like story-driven video games, I feel like just one. I mean, there's Heavy Rain and
no, but even if
Souls, but nothing even came close to The Last of Us.
You look at every single other single-player video game story.
Yeah.
In the entire decade, there's nothing better. That is the best thing
it's just
to
like,
come out.
Just because it made a good TV show as well doesn't mean that that's what they were trying to do from the start. If they had the money that it took to make that game, they probably could have made a TV show. Maybe not necessarily a good one, but they would have made one. But that's what they wanted to do, and then they branched off. I'm happy with it. Pedro Pascal, very happy. But yeah.
I
love you, Cave. That's the worst take you've ever had, though.
He's had a lot of bad takes.
He's had pretty good takes.
Yeah. I think the game. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. The second game was treated with a lot of distaste. A lot of people didn't like it, and then I think the reason is because the writers of the game treated it more like a movie than a game, and making you play as Abby for not a majority, about half the game, right? It was a
big old chunk.
It was about
40%,
I would say, of the game.
It felt like 70% because it was
fueled
about by hate the whole time.
It was about 40%. About a little less than half of the game, you were playing as Abby, a character that
just destroyed a character that you love.
Immediately did not like. You immediately did hate, and they made you play as that. I think as a TV show, that is a fucking great TV show. As a movie, whatever you want to say, that is a great movie. That's a great story. That story, the story that he told, the story that was made, gorgeous, brilliant. As a game, playing,
if you're participating,
playing as that character, very difficult. I when I played as that character, it was and unfortunately, I only played that game once because I did not want to play the Abby portions again because I was so upset with what went down. I was very upset with how Joel was treated like a side character. Joel was treated like, oh, Ellie's the main character and Joel's the side character. Whereas, in my opinion, the first game, Joel was the main character. Joel's story of losing Sarah, losing Tess, and all he had to turn on was Ellie was my main reason to go through the game. It's what made you love Ellie. Was Joel's dad-like instinct to treat her like his own, to lie to her at certain times in points when you would lie to her you would lie to her in person. You would tell her no, that's not true. The Fireflies they were gonna kill you, and I didn't want that to happen. Or the Fireflies were gonna use.
There were other people like.
There were other people like her. The Fireflies. They have other priorities, and it's just not going to work. And so you're going to live. His decision to do that was very justified, in my opinion. And him as a character was perfect. And for them to make him pretty much a side character in the second game was disappointing. But still, in my opinion, it's a fantastic game. It was It was so good.
It was The Last of Us Part 2. Is what it was. It didn't feel wrong. It was
exactly what it needed to be. It was exactly what it needed to be. There was no way they were going to eclipse the first game. There was no way they were going to make something better than the first game. They made something that was on its own a very intriguing, very heartfelt, very standalone video game that I think was exactly in the same tone and same perspective of the first game. That was I thought it was perfect. A lot of people gave hate to it. But I thought it was perfect for
that. A lot of people that gave hate to it acted like the story, the plot was up for debate. They're coming into it like, oh, they should have done this. But that's the direction they went is not for debate. That is now canon. That is what happened.
What was the kid's name? Liv? What was it? Lev?
I don't even remember.
The kid that they
forced us to like.
The trans kid. I love the trans.
He was so insignificant to me.
I don't know. I thought that was the only reason I liked Abby and it was obvious. That was obviously what they were going for. In putting that character in was Abby. Treats this kid right
because they take you through this whole journey of Abby does this horrendous thing to a character you love, no matter how horrendous that character was, and then you have this hate story and you go through all this shit. Abby's the mistress,
but
at the very
her
end,
boyfriend.
You come up to the climax with Abby versus Ellie, and you kind of don't want bad things to happen.
No. Yeah, Ellie's about to kill her. Ellie can kill her. Ellie has the rock above her head and is about to kill her and says, no, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to move on and I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go back to my house where my wife was. But then she goes back to the house. Her wife's not there. Kid's not there. Yeah. Oh, man. That's such a good game. I want to play that again. Oh, fucking A. I think Naughty Dog, I loved the Uncharted games. I think Naughty Dog is by far my favorite production studio of video games. I love Rockstar. I love GTA, and that is a close number 2. But I think Naughty Dog by far has my heart for. I would play any game they put out till the end of time because they're just so good at individual storytelling.
Let's say you, Mario. I feel like we've been talking.
Yeah, I've been ranting. Sorry.
I got 2 things to say. One is the intention of the game, and the second is the result. I think the first game had a message to tell, right? If you really zoom out and look at the story itself, it's really all about how far would you go to protect your everything, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you can see that in Joel's action. And to me, the second one sounded like, seemed like they really wanted to show both sides of the story. They really wanted to show different perspectives and how we all justify ourselves in the way that we do things. So with the way the story was told, I feel like it would have been a really good game if it was told in the right order. I think I talked about this before, maybe, but
Yeah.
they shouldn't have like started off with like the way they did with Abby and Joel. Yeah, they should.
Well, yeah, they started.
We don't know Abby, right? But I think the way the reason why they told it the way they did was to show that we see a bad person, and then we understand them later, right? But the problem with that is they killed Joel, like as a player who's coming back. Yeah.
Let's say they leave that till the not the third act, but let's say the beginning of the third act.
Yeah.
Right. Like so, like in movie sense, like they save that till a little after halfway through the film.
They could even push it to like a second. Like I don't think I would mind if like I knew a little bit about Abby.
If they if they started off the game, number one, you pop in and you're this girl with pigtails who's walking through and her dad, and she's like, hanging out with her dad or whatever, and they're playing it and they just do it in a different order. Where they show you Abby, they show you what atrocities she went through. Like imagine that. Okay, imagine she's, you're Abby and because they had those moments in the middle of the game where you're playing as Abby as a teenager. She's with her dad and she's, you're establishing the character. You're establishing the character, and if they had that at the beginning, where you learned, and they cut into as she finds her dad dead after Joel killed him. If they cut into that, and then they immediately cut to Joel and Ellie in Jackson in snow. And
where the start of the game
at the start of the game, if they pushed that a little bit,
I'll be a more sympathetic.
I think you could have been a lot more sympathetic.
Yeah.
But I think they did it on purpose.
I love Peach acting like this is a spoiler. So many years after the second game was released.
Fuck off.
He's like, what?
Guys, you know what this has done? I really appreciate this because this has made me. I need 100%. After this, I'm going to re-download this because I need to play The Last of Us 1 and I need to play The Last of Us 2 again. I need to play them both again.
Yeah.
Because I want The Last of Us 3. I want The Last of Us 3 where it's something completely different in just the same world, because that world is so awesome.
It's really, and the way they go about showing the world is just so stunning.
Yeah.
And the music, and they it's just flawless. The way they went about it is perfect.
That game.
There are no faults.
As somebody born in 2002, that game was my entire childhood, where I grew up. In 2013 when it came out, I was 11 years old. I played it probably in 2014, 2015. No, that game was I grew up. I played that game about 6 times over, at least. I played that game over and over and over and over and over again.
Can I say one more thing though?
Go on.
So let's say Naughty Dog rearranges the story exactly the way you told it, right? Like, it's after like the halfway through the game, and then there's a point where Abby kills Joel, right?
Mm-hmm.
How interesting would it be if they made us kill Joel?
Oh my god, that's what I'm saying. But no, they couldn't have done that. They couldn't have done that.
But we know about Abby at that point, right? Like
they could not have done that because because then you would get people who are literally just sitting there with their controllers and they would not press the button.
But there was a point when you remember when you're playing as Abby and you're doing this face-off with Ellie in the theater, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of people intentionally died because they just, in spite of Abby, like they really didn't like Abby, right?
Yeah, when that's at the very tail end of you playing as Abby. That's the tail end.
They
of you
still
playing as
didn't
Abby.
like her.
And then it switches over to you playing as Ellie again. And a lot of people, for sure. And I was one of those people. I went through that level because that's what it was. It was the level of the game. I went through that level of the game about 3 or 4 times, trying to be like, okay, there's maybe another way. There's no other way. Yeah. And you had to accept that there was no other way.
But our judgment's still clouded by the action that she has taken at the beginning of the game, all because
Isn't that crazy? Because you as Joel in the first game slaughter so many people, and that's the whole
Yeah.
point of the second game. Like, that was not okay,
Yeah,
but yet we're still on that side because we have that emotional connection.
I think.
So
Okay.
maybe it's right, we should have built that emotional connection with Abby first, but also, had we started out the game with Abby and it been too long of a section, people would have been complaining still. Like, oh, I don't care about this character, why am I playing as this character? Right off the bat, like, why should I care? You know?
I think that and in hindsight, I think they did a fantastic job with that second game. I think they did a fantastic job. I
They
think
did great.
the story is brilliant. I think the reasons to make you play as Abby, to make you play as Ellie in the time that they did, I think they were brilliant. And I think people getting upset and people giving death threats to Lauren Bailey, to people giving all right, fire sirens.
Fire engine.
We're in the city. I think people getting upset is at the same time justified as it is absolutely ridiculous that it makes it such a perfect game.
Yep.
Because there are plenty of movies and TV shows that do the kind of same thing. There are plenty of movies and TV shows that do the same thing, where they make you see the perspective of the villain. They make you see the perspective of someone else and try to like justify your own what's the word I'm looking for? Justify your own reasons to do such heinous things that Joel did in that first game. I think that game is perfect, and I think the second game is near on perfect.
They did a really good job of living up to the hype. They did what Half-Life couldn't do, and is make a follow-up.
Oh man. Half-Life at this point, they're not coming out with Half-Life 3 because they're scared.
Yeah.
What kind of fucking studio does that? I am drastically upset by this.
I think I'm more upset than anybody else in the world. That's my game, dude. Half-Life 2 is my game. I made it.
I never grew up with a PC, so I never played Half-Life. I watched Half-Life when it came out.
I watched not when it came out. I think we were together.
I watched Half-Life 2 when it came out.
Really? When did that game come out?
Like 2005, didn't it? Like 2007? Like early?
I don't think you
I did.
No, surely not.
I did.
I watched my dad play it, right?
It was popular on YouTube.
On his Apple Mac, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. The gravity gun, and that segment where you play fetch with the robot dog. Oh my god. So timeless. I loved it so much. That is my childhood.
I haven't touched the second one yet.
They left it on a cliffhanger. They're never coming out.
Because they can't.
They came out with a newer game, Half-Life Alyx, and it's a VR game, and it's a prequel.
Oh.
So.
Maybe they are building up to something.
Okay, here's the thing. I think in 5 to 10 years, I think they'll come out with something. I do not think. I think they'll.
That is when my stream career will come back.
I think they'll.
When they make a Half-Life 3, I'm coming right back to Twitch. Watch out.
Good. I think they will either come out with a prequel kind of thing like Alyx, or something that is supplementary.
Yep.
Or they will come out with Half-Life 3, and they will come out with Portal 3, and they will come out with Team Fortress 3, and they will...
Team Fortress 3?
What do you mean Team Fortress 3? What do you mean?
I feel like that's just like coming out with Fortnite 2 at this point. You don't need it.
Yeah. I feel like they'll come out... I feel like if they were going to come out with all these things... Overwatch it. I think they will come out with all of these things at the same time with their Steam console, and they will... That's what they will do. I think at this point they're too scared to come out with one standalone Half-Life 3 and expect it to do good. I think they're too worried about what the problems that they will have with it and the public outcry that they will have with it.
Yeah. Yeah, with the next one, it probably has to be like a next-gen revolutionary system, and then they'll have to have like a solid plot.
Exactly.
Yeah.